So this is the last video during my vacation time. I'll be leaving the sunshine and warmth here and returning to the amazing snowy weather of Canada. I do kind of miss the snow, but with this video, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about 4 interesting PlayStation 5 stories. And if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it. And as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I wanted to dive into today include Sony majorly beating Xbox, big PlayStation Plus news, Wolverine PlayStation 5 including the world, details including the world, release date, and apparently the Xmen, and mind-boggling performance happening on PlayStation 5. First, yes or no, do you have PlayStation VR2 pre-ordered or not? As we get closer and closer to launch, I'm curious if any more of you have pre-ordered PlayStation VR2 compared to before. You guys already know I've had mine pre-ordered since they went live, but of course, as always, that's just me. What about you guys? So comment below yes or no if you have PlayStation VR2 pre-ordered or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, PS5 majorly beating Xbox. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, Sony CFO Hiroki Totoki has stated that the percentage of PlayStation 5 consoles in the United States has expanded significantly compared to its peers. In an earnings announcement for the third quarter of fiscal year 2022, which was live streamed earlier today, February 2nd, he reveals that Sony was worried about the Xbox Series consoles catching up with the PlayStation 5, but recent numbers have helped to quell its fears, as translated by Twitter user Genki_JPN, who regularly provides gaming insights from Japan. Totoki said during the conference in the United States, also in summer, there was some narrowing of the gap between PS5 and its peers, but more recently, our share has expanded significantly. Having said that, however, this is something dynamic, so we have to watch the situation carefully from the fourth quarter onwards. Essentially, in Xbox's home turf being the US, PS5 and Series consoles were getting close in terms of sales in the summer last year, based on what I'm hearing here. But recently, PS5 sales numbers have expanded significantly over Xbox, according to Sony. I'm curious to know what helped Xbox get closer to PlayStation 5 last year in the US. Starfield, I'm assuming PlayStation 5 stock had a big impact, but beyond that, was it the hype of Starfield before people found out it was delayed? Because I think it was announced to be delayed in May of last year. I'm not really sure. I'm curious to find out more there. Regardless, the PlayStation 5 currently sits at 32.1 million units sold. The series sales numbers don't really exist. I don't really have official numbers for Xbox consoles, but estimates put them at about 20 million, showcasing the large gap between the two, 12 million consoles between the two, which is crazy. Now, diving into the second story of the video, big PlayStation Plus news. Reading from Insider Gaming, Sony has announced that the PlayStation Plus collection is leaving the PlayStation 5 later this year. Leaving the platform in May, the PlayStation Plus collection was launched to give PlayStation 5 owners that were PlayStation Plus members a chance to play some of the top games from the PlayStation 4 era, exclusives such as Bloodborne, Ratchet & Clank, The Last Guardian, and The Last of Us were all made available to those who may not have had the chance to play them on the last generation console. On May 9th, the PlayStation Plus collection will no longer be offered, the company said in its blog post. We will continue to add to our growing PlayStation Plus library of monthly games and games catalog, so be sure to check monthly for new titles to redeem. So, I haven't really touched this part of PlayStation Plus in a while because I have all of these games redeemed, and that's the great thing here. These aren't catalog games that will disappear without your control. If you redeem them, they'll stay in your library as long as you have a PlayStation Plus subscription. The downside here is for new players who haven't gotten a PlayStation 5 and can't jump on this yet. But again, PS5s are becoming easier to get, and you have about 4 months to redeem these games. This is honestly one of the better reasons to get a PlayStation 5 sooner rather than later. Or I guess you could always sign into your friend's PlayStation 5 and redeem these games there for yourself until you get a PlayStation 5 on your own. But you guys let me know if you've redeemed these games or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the third story of the video, Wolverine Xmen PlayStation 5. Reading from PlayStation Lifestyle, Insomniac Games apparently wants to avoid tying Marvel's Wolverine to any of the X-Men movies, and they intend to do this by setting the game in a time before the hero joined the X-Men, at least according to industry insider Jeff Grubb. Talking on the Giant Bomb Game Mess Mornings podcast, Grubb said that Wolverine would not be a part of a team when the game started. Whether the character joins up with the X-Men further into the game remains to be seen. On the other hand, there's a chance that Wolverine and Marvel's Spider-Man 2 will share the same world. Grubb expects Wolverine to have a cameo or Easter egg in Spider-Man 2, although the games won't be too similar. Firstly, Wolverine will be a semi-open world game with a linear design that includes several smaller open world areas. Secondly, the game is aiming for a mature rating by including things like human dismemberment, something that isn't entirely unexpected, bearing in mind the Spec Ops The Line writer, Walt Williams, is the narrative director. So this is definitely a lot of exciting stuff. Jeff Grubb also mentioned a potential release date of late 2024 to early 2025, I think. So it just if this is what's going to happen, it just shows the crazy output that Insomniac has, because again, we're getting Spider-Man this year and potentially Wolverine next year. But beyond that, semi-open world pretty much sounds like God of War style open world to me, which makes me think that this game might not take place in a city environment, maybe somewhere off in the woods. I'm not sure, but a city environment with that semi-open world setup, I'm not sure how well that would fit. I love that the game will also have human dismemberment. I know some people were worried about that, if Insomniac would actually do it, but I personally hope Insomniac Games puts gruesome levels of details here, because I want to see everything when I'm slashing through people. The mention of X-Men is interesting because I always thought this was a story focused on Wolverine, but considering the X-Men could join later on in the game, but not only that, but also that Wolverine could make a cameo in Spider-Man 2, tells you that Insomniac Games seems to be building potentially this Insomniac Marvel gaming universe. IMGU, I guess. If that is the case, I assume more of Insomniac will be working on Marvel titles, which is exciting, but I'll also miss Insomniac working on their own IPs outside of Ratchet and Clank, like, Resistance, which has been long dead. Either way, we have Spider-Man 2 this year and potentially Wolverine next year. And now diving into the final story of the video, mind-boggling performance. So Ryan McCaffrey from IGN recently got a chance to try out GT7 on PlayStation VR2. There was a lot of previews going around for the game. He broke down his experience and pretty much was at a loss for words as to how great it was. He used an example focused on his old dream car that he had, a DeLorean, and talked about how insanely detailed GT7 is when looking at the cockpit, looking in the back of the car, just maneuvering your head around the car. This is a car he claims to know inside and out in real life, and he was floored by the level of immersion and detail he felt and that he got, and from what he's seen while being inside of the DeLorean inside of GT7. Beyond that, he talked about how alongside the insane sharpness and visual detail that you see when the game is in motion, apparently the game also runs at a flawless 120 FPS. So we're talking about a full VR game with sharp visuals at 120 FPS for complete smoothness. But you guys let me know if you're going to be playing GT7 on PlayStation VR2 or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is the body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with the power of PS5. We're talking about GT7, full sharp visuals in VR, running at 120 FPS for a buttery smooth experience. I'm excited for that and to showcase how powerful the PS5 can be. If you're excited to see that for yourself as well, destroy the comment section with the power of PS5, and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.